是一个永远美丽的梦，更是一个诞生梦的地方。为什么在这样的雨天来到巴黎？我在这里寻找一个人，寻找一个也许无法见面，但却能清晰知道他存在的一个人。
We have to look at Louis Cartier as the founder of a Cartier style, the modern Cartier style. And he was 23 when he joined his father in 1898. He belongs to a generation of young men and young women in France at the time. In their mind, in their eyes, nothing could be the same. Because so many progresses were, going around, like, cars, speedboats, telephone, electric lighting. Everything was changing so fast. So those creative people at the time knew that in terms of aesthetics, things had to change too. So Louis Cartier definitely belongs to that generation. Before him, everything was looking back to history, and nothing was really created for the current times. So he was in that mind, and as soon as he joined his father, he had the idea to hire his own creative studio. He chose people coming from other applied art, like, for instance, cast iron. If you go into Paris and look at the facade, the buildings, you see how cast iron is key in the French aesthetics. Those people, together with him, they were very, very daring in their approach. So he imposed the use of platinum. That was a total revolution.
艺术的世界从1900年开始便有了巨大的改变，人们体验了过去几个世纪以来从来没有感受到的惊奇。梦想似乎渐渐实现，人们可以在天空飞翔，艺术化为设计成为生活形态的一部分。路易卡地亚生活在巴黎这个世界瞩目的焦点城市里，是不是早就感受到这即将翻天覆地转变的新世纪已经来到
？Cartier at that time, in 1900, was the center of the world for many people. It was an objective for everybody in the world to go to Paris, because that's where things were happening. There was a famous international exhibition that took place in 1900, and millions of people visited it from all over the world. So being Parisian at the time was an opportunity to be exposed at so many things that were going on, in other cultures, in other countries. Till now, that permanent curiosity towards other cultures, towards other world, is deeply rooted in the people who actually lived in Paris at the time. And Louis Cartier was at the center of that. Living in Paris in that period had an effect on Cartier forever.
人们说卡地亚大胆创新，我说这是路易卡地亚为卡地亚品牌注入的基因。他充满好奇心，敢于冒险探索，他突破所有陈旧的规矩，他愿意在传统中寻找新意。这就是到现在卡地亚品牌仍然追求的精神。
Louis Cartier had a taste for, let's say, for culture and art. So he was a collector himself. In the mind of Louis Cartier, beauty was also very subjective. He knew that in the Western world, especially in Europe, we had an idea of what was beauty, but thanks to his curiosity towards other cultures, he knew that there were other expressions of beauty, and that could be an influence to make us evolve, to broaden our, the way we look at things. And in jewelry, I think he opened so many new fields of expressions. He brought jewelry into the field of, the most important artistic expressions, which is very inspiring to us. But associations of colors, but like the blue and green, which is very much linked to the audacity of Louis Cartier, who took his inspiration from the Islamic world, to impose the blue and green, which was like something that in the Western culture you couldn't do.
腕表一定要是圆形的吗？一个探险家需要的腕表就一定是军事类型设计的吗？路易卡地亚说不，形的本身就是艺术，形的本身就是审美的延伸。卡地亚的 Santos、Tank 都不是圆形的，更不是人们所定义的 Art Deco， 它是时代赋予路易卡地亚独特的眼光而创作出来的，这也是卡地亚品牌往后走进造型艺术之路的重要开端。
His eye on the object that is, a wristwatch changed totally the world of a time measurement, like the Santos watch, or the tank, which is even purer expression in terms of design, will remain forever. You can see that, in fact, the tank is the result of a very consistent approach from the Santos that shows that idea of essential shapes, essential lines, and purity. You see that the Santos is a square shape with round angles, and in which, for the first time, the attachment to the strap is part of a case. And in between, you have a tonneau, you have a tortue shapes. The tonneau was an allusion to the shape of a barrel, and the tortue is turtle, is a turtle seen from the top. And the tank was like a tank seen from the top too. You have to imagine that in 1917, that's the year when the Americans joined the Allied forces. So everything was full of images of a tank, and that's why they qualified that specific shape as tank shape, because it looked like a tank that was all around them at the time. There were totally internal names. Everybody within Cartier will understand which object we are talking about. So that's why Santos Dumont was called Santos, because everybody knew that it was the watch first offered to Mr. Santos Dumont. And then you see from that, you see the evolution to the simplest version of that object. Tank is not a whimsical creation. It's the result of, let's say, a vision in terms of design, of purity. We inherited especially that obsession for the evolution of shapes. That's the most distinctive point of Cartier watches.
在过去的100年里，有些人更怀念装饰艺术时期的卡地亚，或者我们会想起在某几个年代，卡地亚设计如何触动了我们深层想要改变的内心，而卡地亚不断地在前进，也不断地在追寻，在当下延展过去，探向未来。
In fact, at Cartier, thanks to him, there's no nostalgia at all. There's not a time that could be seen like a golden age. The present is a golden age because it's the opportunity to create new things. So Louis Cartier pushed us to understand. It's not a question of immediate trends. It's a way of understanding the deep evolution of the ways of life of a people. Talking about jewelry, how women do move, how the objects can fit the body, because part of the desire towards our object is made of that. The notion of elegance for us is linked to the fact that the object is well worn. We don't create objects to be sticked on the body. It's a specific skill as a jeweler to know how the object will move and fit the body. Fluidity is key. Articulation is key. That's why the choice of platinum can be explained also, because platinum is so solid that you can multiply the articulation, so you can create very fluid kind of jewelry. And that's also the objective as much as we can.
我喜欢卡地亚在材质之间创作的冲突美，喜欢卡地亚在规矩中寻找不规矩，作品形体上的，甚至是创作哲学上的。它可以是华丽无边的盛大，也可以是收敛而不羁的优雅。这是路易卡地亚的追求，是他赋予卡地亚品牌的核心灵魂。人们记住了阳光灿烂的花都巴黎，而我却愿意在这样的雨天看到一个不一样的巴黎，和那个与巴黎一样与众不同